My name is Paul Scannell. I'm a qualified FCA debt advisor working for a local charity and working on the hub. Almost from the start. I think within a few months of it opening, I believe in 2016 at Holton Library. Well, initially it's been in the same room with other expertise, with other partners offering services that I don't. So I'm strictly debt advice. I don't pretend to understand housing or benefits. So I'm keen to have an expert in the room or a signpost or referral. So that's how it originally worked. Now it's grown much bigger, and so some of this is done less directly. But while in the hub, for example, where we are today in Kilburn Hub, I have generalist advisors, benefit advisors that I can go to instantly with a client, sit down, explain what I've done, what work needs to be done, and have a relationship going forward with that other advisor, so that we know what each other's doing, and the client walks away having received an experience of not being sent somewhere else, having much of the work needed done that day in the same place. Yeah, so originally with yourself and with Mo, we had the shared ethos of the council treating residents as customers rather than as the council being a creditor and the resident being the debtor. And through that, we made contact with council tax, which is the main area that I deal with debt in the hubs. And we spoke to Peter Cosgrove, who happily shared our ethos, that wanted to have his staff have the experience of treating people as customers.
Okay, I'm Peter Cosgrove. I'm the head of revenue and debt. So that looks after council tax, business rates and sundry debts, adult social care, contributions, and other paid housing benefit, and I work in resident services, Brent Council.
And we came up with the idea that I would have immediate access to him. He could then provide any emergency requests to his staff, so that there was an immediate take-up for any needs that I identified. So it's like giving a fresh start to people that are having real difficulties. They're presenting here very much last minute with a bailiff enforcement notice that's got them here. And the idea is that once they got here and they started to work with the hub, that the council, particularly here, council tax, would treat this as a fresh start as long as they continue to work with the hub. So enforcement would stop. The collection, a 28-day hold would generally be put in place for me to collect information that I needed, or a signpost for benefit advice. Within that 28 days, there would be a supply of information to the council. They would supply details to me as well. And at the end, once we've resolved what was actually owed, we'd look into a proposal to meet the current year's payment and an affordable amount of money to pay off the balance from previous years. And that's important because previously there were demands that were being made based on limited times, which meant that other payments would not be made. For example, rent accounts may then get into difficulties. So now the council is accepting that there are limited funds, that as long as the future liabilities are paid, they will be sensible about how much is accepted to reduce previous year's balances. And that's a major change to what was happening previously, and a real benefit both to council tax and to our clients, our customers.
The ones that we are able to speak to, they're the ones that do contact us and do contact hubs and debt advisors. They're the ones that are particularly keen to help. We should be able to provide assistance to, whether that's over the phone, online, or face-to-face in hubs. What would happen in the Sheriff's Centre case with Paul Scannell is that he deals in detail with debtors, people who are really struggling to make ends meet, and sometimes people who have negative budgets, who have no money at all. So in those cases, we will do what we can to provide additional support, resident support fund, And there's a little mechanism within council tax that allows the authority to reduce the liability to zero. It's called 13A, part of the regulations, which means we can actually remove the debt in certain circumstances where there's particular hardship. So where Paul, the Sheriff Centre, comes across people who are in particular need, but they are in a position where they are trying to turn their situation around and get support, then we're able to remove some of the liability, reduce it, and or provide longer arrangements than we perhaps would have done in the past.
So now we're being seen as a team that's working together to benefit the person that comes to the hub. So the collaboration is, although I don't work for the council, I'm assisting the council to get the result that they want for themselves, but more importantly what they want for the customer as well. It's in both the council's and the customer's interest that happens. So now, when I write, there are no threats, there are no arguments. It's a relationship where we know each other, we trust each other, and because of this, there's no doubts, there's none of the bartering that used to go on. It's just a kind of fully professional working relationship.
Yeah, like I was saying before, I think it was very much a kind of, we were seen as working against each other like this, kind of two bulls interlocking horns. So clearly that wasn't really to the advantage of the debtor, to the resident, who were being asked one thing by us and being provided advice by another, and creating a lot of time and potentially a lot of delay. So this way, coming to a conclusion that we would probably have come to in the end anyway, once we'd got out of our own egos and realised that actually there was no way round this, that the person didn't have any funds, to come to a conclusion much more quickly about how we can assist the resident. None of this means, though, of course, that we're not, as we would say, tough on debtors. I'd like to think that hopefully Paul's experience of dealing with our team is still improving and continues to improve, that he gets a positive response, that the culture and attitude of my guys has changed, so they're seeing him now as someone, as a partner with whom we can work, rather than someone who's just trying to stop us doing our job. And hopefully he's seen that, and we are seeing certainly a positive attitude from the Sheriff's Office side in terms of coming forward with very difficult cases that he really believes we should be helping. And he doesn't just chuck everything at us and assuming that we can deal with every case. He's very particular in dealing with cases and making sure that only appropriate cases come to us where he knows or thinks we should be in a position to help a particular resident.
This is the main benefit. The relationship now, this working professional relationship between Hub and council departments, particularly council tax, means that if a client is sitting here now, I can email to recovery and I can immediately ask for a 28-day hold, even longer if needed. And that will be given immediately, unquestioned, and the account returned in-house from the enforcement agency. Later on, it may even be taken in-house completely, and we can then deal with costs and other issues that have added to the balance. But in brief, there is an immediate action I can take that the council can immediately agree to, and do immediately agree to. People then leave the hub, leave my office, knowing that that enforcement threat that they just received that brought them here has been frozen and good work is going to be done in the meantime.